Good day, YouTube. This is Jay Money with Falling Forward Financial. Just another video here on DexCom. I wanted to break it down a little bit further. I did a video on 3 stock splits. DexCom was one of them. Google and Amazon were the other 2. Feel free to watch that. It's called 3 stock splits. You can buy and hold forever, but I wanted to break down this one a little bit more since it is a diabetic supply, DexCom, or a diabetic device. Actually, CGM is what they call it. We'll get into that here in a moment. But you can see some of the volatility that this one's had and the run-up that it's had here last year and then ran back down. But this one does have some potential behind it, and this one did a split, so we'll go over that as well. But it's down about 30% in the last year. Over the past 3 months, down over 40%. Here in the past month, down about 5.5%. Here in the last week, it's actually in the green, 2.84%. And here's a look at what it's doing today. So started out at the 74.34 range, ran up, fell off, kind of broke through there to 75.50, so and on the way up. So we'll see what it does throughout the rest of the day. And if you don't know much about this one, it's a medical device manufacturing company, engages in the design, development, and commercialization of glucose monitoring system for ambulatory use by people with diabetes. So kind of goes into on my other video. I'll link that in the description about how many people are diabetic, even pre-diabetic, and if that goes without being diagnosed, can turn into diabetes later. So not anything to mess around with. I've worked with diabetics in the past. I have kind of a soft spot for them. A lot of it comes down to a diet, a lot of it's genetic, so it just kind of depends, but definitely a stock that you can hold for the long term. This was founded in 1999. It's got a $29.43 billion market cap, the high today of 75.68, low of 72.41, 52-week high of 164.86, and a low of 66.89, so almost $100 swing in there. So the average volume of 3.30 million, and volume not even a million, so probably has a little bit more trading on certain days and so on. So the article I believe that I have kind of goes into a little bit on their debt. If it doesn't, we can always come back to that. But analyst ratings, you can see this one's got great ratings at an 84% buys. So the bulls are saying DexCom initiative with Verify offers the potential to apply tech expertise in data. So the bears are saying there are generally aren't many switching costs for end users, which could make it. So say what you want about this one. Even though it's volatile, it's going to continue going up. Just as I showed you, it's got the potential to go back up. So over here on Microsoft Bing, currently showing it as a buy with a 1-year price target of $125.55. Again, I don't give tax, legal, or trading advice, just state my opinion. But DexCom's stock split is complete. Is it a time to buy? This, as you can see, was just released on the 27th. So again, it's a medical device, focus on a glucose monitoring system, or on March 25th, its stock got a nice little 10% bounce after they announced a pending 4-for-1 stock split, but as commonly happens in such cases as this has been especially true during this bear market, that popped shortly thereafter turned into a decline. So like I said, I don't give tax, legal, or trading advice. That wouldn't scare me away because everything's been on a decline here. So don't know where the bottom is. Don't know if we've hit it yet or if we will. So Investors may benefit if they jump into a stock the moment a split is announced, but oftentimes between the point and the day the split takes place, the stock price can slide again, and those drops can last 6 months. Splits get some investors excited, but the reality is they don't change the value of the stock, the company, or its outlook. So again, just like everything, timing can be important and hard to know, so that's why it's always good to research a company. And just like Warren Buffett says, if you believe in a company, believe it's going to go forward, you should invest in that company. Again, you can take his word for it, not mine. So if you believe in the company, research it, and if you want to invest into it, go for it. So stock splits have become a mind game for those willing to take on more risk, and for those who might be less educated about investing, the thought process is apparently the stock will split. More people will be able to buy it after it becomes less expensive, and I'll get my shares now before the split. But in cases where the company might have no other positive news to accompany the split, that's less investing and more like gambling. So I've already made videos about Google. They're supposed to be probably within the next 2 weeks. I think their splits July 8th or 9th. If you know that date, you can leave it in the comments. I've talked about Amazon and this DexCom, and I just had a video. It was called 3 Stock Splits. It had DexCom, Google, and Amazon on it, so it's kind of interesting. DexCom's split was completed on June 10th. Investors who owned shares worth $296 each when they went to bet on June 9th had 4 times as many shares in their portfolios worth $74 apiece when the market opened on June 10th. The total value of their holdings didn't change, so the dollar value doesn't change. It's just you have more pieces of the pie. So each share is worth a little bit less, but your dollar amount in the end is still the same. So, but those who bought the stock between March 25th through April 1st, just after its run up, and have held on to the shares ever since, it's a different story. They are sitting on an average unrealized loss of roughly 39%. So sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes not. The last time Tesla did their stock split, the stock just ran up. That wasn't the case for Amazon, and nor is it for Google, which is a good thing because I want to buy both of them. So good news for DexCom investors. One look at DexCom's website, and you know the company has something going for it. Pop star Nick Jonas in front and center as a spokesperson, but in all seriousness, the product he helps promote is the company's G6 continuous glucose monitoring system, which allows diabetes sufferers to better manage their disease and maintain healthier lifestyles. And again, that's what a lot of it is about for a lot of them, is just maintaining a healthier lifestyle. Due to the fast food and fast lifestyle, everybody goes out to eat, and it's just a crap diet all the way around. So that's kind of a big driving force for a lot of diabetics, and some of it's just genetics. You can't control it. So the launch of the G7 in Europe is underway, and when the company reports its Q2 earnings in late July or early August, it could shed some light on how it will be adopted by patients and the medical personnel. So I'm not going to read all this to you. I'm just going to slowly scroll through it. Feel free to pause and go over that for yourself. Is that a time to buy? Less concerned about whether DexCom's pipeline and strategy can just buying the stock now. One more concern about when the market will provide the best opportunity. If you're an investor who buys and holds for the long term, it's worth noting DexCom's stock price is down 50% since November 8th to a level not seen since spring of 2020. And so if you like this one, maybe just keep watching it. That's what I'm going to do. Maybe buy a couple shares here and there and see what it does. If it goes down, just keep buying more and dollar cost average into it. That's what I do. So I'm not telling you to do that. That's what I do. So like I said, I don't give tax, legal, or trading advice, just state my opinion. Moving on here, with stock splits underway, these two beaten down stocks are buys now. So again, we've been talking a lot about stock splits. Even with the caveats, there are brighter days ahead, and some companies that recently resorted to stock splits. Let's consider two of them, DexCom and Shopify. I've talked about Shopify once or twice in the past, and here you can kind of see their chart. So first is DexCom. Like I said, it's a medical device. They did their 4-for-1 split in March, and a lot of this we already went over, so just going to continue scrolling through it. Next is Shopify. They had a challenging year, and its pandemic-related tailwind ended. Also, the company reported a massive net loss per share of $11.70 in the first quarter. Shopify recorded net income per share of $9.94 in the comparable period of previous fiscal year. So their investors are running for the hills despite a planned 10-for-1 stock split that will take effect on June 29th. So there's your date for Shopify, which that is actually today. So still, the e-commerce industry in which Shopify competes has a long and bright future ahead of it. According to some estimates, this market will expand at a compound annual growth rate of 14.7% through 2027. So it still might be a long-term hold. I'm definitely going to look at it now, and we can maybe pull it up here at the end of the video. Over here on Yahoo Finance, currently showing this one is bearish. It's probably still settling from the stock split, so waiting short signal based on 15 indicators start. Not much else in there. Over here on StockTwits, currently at 74.56. Stock splits underway. That's what we just went over. Not much else in there that we haven't already touched on. Over here on MSN Money, currently showing it as a buy with an upside to $125.55. So it's already touched that in the past, so it's just down. Like I said, it's down in price, and might be something to watch. But like I said, I did a video on this one earlier, and just wanted to go a little bit more in depth on it, break it down a little bit more, and see who out there has this one. I've also talked about Sensionics on the channel. I'll link those in the description as well, which is another continuous glucose monitoring system. But like I said, I would pull up Shopify here, and you can see what they've done over the last year. This was up to $1,500 pre-split. Was probably back here in this area, but as you can see what this one's done here over the last year, so might have to go and do a video on Shopify now. So but that's it for DexCom. If you have this one, go ahead and list it in the comments, and if you have Sensionics, I'll probably be working on a video to update that one. I haven't looked at that one for a while, so I think it's still in the 30-cent range. It's went down, or maybe it was 97 cents the last time I looked at it. And if there's any other stocks out there you want me to do a video on, I'd be happy to take a look at those as well. And if you haven't smashed that like button yet, go ahead and hit that for me, as well as subscribing, and hit the bell so you're notified of when the next videos drop. Again, this is J Money, Falling Forward Financial. Happy trading, happy investing, stay green. Cheers.